Welcome back to PSM News in English with me, Fatma Sara. Running mate of Progressive Party of Maldives PPM, Dr. Mohammed Shahim Ali Said urges to re-elect President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum for a second term in office to support his developmental agenda and to ensure further progress to the country. Speaking in Hurudeli in DIALYSIS Atoll as part of a campaign trip, the running mate of the ruling party highlighted the president in his first term has conducted major developmental projects Maldives has not seen in the past, adding it is crucial to re-elect the president for a second term to continue the rapid transformation of the country. In this regard, Shahim said it is time for the citizens to accept the reality, noting it is every individual's responsibility to make sure President Yamin gets re-elected. Moreover, Shahim also visited LANO Island, where he was warmly received by the citizens. Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said reveals President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum envisages an economically independent Maldives. Speaking at a press conference held by Progressive Party of Maldives PPM, Economic Minister Mohammed Said stated the President continuously work to minimize the economic dependency of Maldives on foreign countries. The Economic Minister said the announcement by the President to purchase a submarine cable is an addition to the numerous efforts to enhance the economy and minimize the dependency on foreign countries and other international partners. Further, the minister noted the investment on the hopper dredger of Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC, which is the largest in the region, and highlighted the numerous land reclamation projects it has conducted across the country. Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said states the opposition presidential candidate does not have the capability or the vision to develop the Maldives. Speaking about the economic strategy of President Yamin for Maldives, Economic Minister Mohammed Said said the country is developing at a speed which was not envisioned by the citizens. In this regard, mentioning the mega development project of LANO International Airport VIA, the Economic Minister stated a new runway was completed within 13 months while the airport was in operation, adding the runway is the best in terms of quality compared to airports in the region. The Minister noted VIA was developed to International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO standards, reassuring the quality of the new runway developed which can be used in the operation of the largest commercial aircraft in the world. Moreover, Minister Said expressed development of VIA is the first step towards increasing the tourist bed capacity to 50,000. Furthermore, the Economic Minister stated the opposition cannot fulfill the pledges, highlighting it takes determination, courage and vision to transform Maldives. Condemning acts defaming the country by opposition leaders, the minister reaffirmed the biggest betrayal to the nation is threatening the sovereignty and respect towards the country. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Mohammed Muiz reveals plans to provide 150 land plots from the newly reclaimed area of THINADHOO in DIALYSIS Atoll next week. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the completion of several projects in THINADHOO, Housing Minister Muiz expressed citizens seek affordable housing. Noting the government has now decided to provide land plots from the newly reclaimed land of THINADHOO, the Housing Minister said the government continuously worked to realize the dream of the citizens. Meanwhile, Minister of Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, said in the recent past the biggest beach protection project was conducted in THINADHOO. In this regard, the Environment Minister noted an area of over 1,600 square meters was protected, adding the advancement provided for THINADHOO by the government in the past 5 years has been remarkable. The minister said all citizens must accept development brought under the leadership of President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum and called to move forward with further advancement by re-electing the president to a second term in office. Housing Development Corporation HDC reveals the construction of 7,000 housing units as part of the largest social housing project conducted in Maldives will conclude by the end of next year. Speaking with PSM News regarding the project, Managing Director of HTC, Ahmad Nasif, revealed 40% of the development of the housing units have now been completed. The government is assured to solve housing issues faced by thousands of Maldivians upon completion of the project. As part of the project, 62 towers are to be built in Hulu Malé, with 16 towers currently under construction. Upon completion of the project, the government aims to provide housing for a population of 100,000 Maldivians. Treetop Hospital says it has enhanced the dialysis services provided for the patients. According to Treetop Hospital, the dialysis services were further enhanced to meet the standards provided by the most advanced healthcare facilities in the world. The largest private hospital in Maldives revealed it can guarantee services will be provided most conveniently for the patients. Moreover, the hospital assured the machinery and equipment used in providing dialysis services are the latest and technologically most advanced. Treetop Hospital is the largest investment by a private party and has transformed the healthcare sector in the Maldives. Chancellor of Maldives National University MNU, Dr. Ali Fawaz Sharif, reveals MNU School of Medicine will begin its medical degree programs before the end of the month and will follow an international standard curriculum. The Chancellor of the National University made the remarks at a ceremony held to sign an agreement with University Kabasang, Malaysia, UKM. The affiliation was signed by Chancellor Dr. Ali Fawaz and Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic and International Affairs of UKM, Dato Dr. Muhammad Marzuki bin Mustafa. Speaking after signing the agreement, Dr. Ali Fawaz said preparations are underway to inaugurate MNU School of Medicine, adding the aim is to provide internationally accepted quality programs for Maldivian students. Under the agreement, UKM will provide the curriculum and teaching material required to conduct a medical degree, as well as provide consultancy to MNU School of Medicine to enhance its operations and services. Hulu Malé is being developed as a modern city that would cater to the Greater Malé demographic. With every upgrade in the youth city comes an influx of commuters.
Hulu Malé is a city which has been prioritized for development by the government of Maldives. Boasting a population that nears 50,000, the number of people who travel to Hulu Malé during the weekend for various purposes has increased manifold. Visitors to Hulu Malé flock not only to the barbecue area and eateries, they also source increase in sales at guest houses and the cinema. On such days, provision of ferry service to cater to the high demand had been impossible. Until recently, waiting in long queues to board a ferry was a burden many were willing to take just for a weekend away from the clamour of Malé city. The ferry was the only means through which a motorcycle could be taken to Hulu Malé. Until recently, regardless of wind or rain, the 20-minute commute on the ferry was the only means of transportation between the two islands. The ferry service is not without glitches. Some unfortunate events have also occurred in the waters between Malé and Hulu Malé. However, all this is expected to be stories of yesteryears in the wake of the revolutionary change set in motion by the government to the transportation system in the Greater Malé region. The Sinamale Bridge, which was inaugurated on the 30th of August, has enabled people who commute to Malé for work to head straight from home to the desired destination, in contrast to the long hours spent in the ferry queue early in the morning. With the number of people travelling between Malé and Hulu Malé on the rise, the Sinamale Bridge has swiftly merged the two cities.
Samsung Electronics Company Limited opens its biggest mobile store in the world in India as it tries to take pole position in the world's second biggest smartphone market amid fierce competition from Chinese brands.
The South Korean tech giant's 3,000 square meter store in the southern tech hub of Bengaluru will help it extend its lead in India over global rival Apple Incorporated, which has yet to open any flagship stores in the country. India, which boasts more than 1 billion wireless connections, presents a lucrative opportunity for smartphone makers to expand beyond China and the US, where growth has slowed. Samsung opened the world's biggest smartphone plant outside Indian capital New Delhi just 2 months ago. Senior Vice President Mobile Business at Samsung India, Mohandeep Singh, said, by creating such a platform, they can engage with the community even better.
For us, Samsung Opera House, which is the world's largest mobile experience center, is essentially a place where we will bring culture, art, socializing, to entertainment, together with technology, innovation, startup culture, and really blend the two in. And I think today's consumer does this much more easily than, what you and I can think of.
Samsung also wants to develop the center as a meeting point for startups and venture capitalists. It has pulled pages from their playbooks to become savvier with online marketing, launching devices aimed at millennials, seeking to reinvent itself as a younger brand and finding a new love for cricket with a sponsorship deal. The new store will feature Samsung mobile devices, but also showcase its consumer electronics products and latest innovations. It will also house a service center for phones. Samsung, which runs 2,100 stores in India through franchise partners, is facing off against a host of Chinese brands led by Xiaomi Co.
The United Nations Special Envoy for Syria gathers officials from Iran, Turkey and Russia for talks on the Syrian issues. Here's more on this.
The three countries are the three guarantor countries of the Astana process talks, which were launched in January 2017 with the aim of putting an end to violence and improving the humanitarian situation in war-torn Syria. After discussions for hours, they ended the talks led by United Nations Special Envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, with no comment to the media. Previously, de Mistura had informal meetings with members of the three delegations on Monday. The United Nations Special Envoy will on Friday inform Egypt, France, Germany, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Britain and the US of the results from the talks. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has appealed to Russia, Iran and Turkey to spare no effort to find solutions that protect civilians in Syria's Idlib, and said it is absolutely essential a full-scale battle was avoided.
I make a clear appeal to all parties directly and indirectly involved, and in particular the three guarantors of the de-escalation zone, namely Iran, Russia and Turkey. Spare no effort to find solutions that protect civilians, preserve basic services and hospitals, ensure full respect for international humanitarian law.
An estimated 3 million people live in Idlib, which is the last major stronghold of active opposition to President Bashar al-Assad. The United Nations has described it as a dumping ground for people evacuated and displaced from elsewhere in Syria during the 7-year war. Assad has vowed to retake the region, backed by his Russian and Iranian allies. Syrian government and Russian war plans began airstrikes in Idlib last week in a possible prelude to a full-scale offensive. They say they are targeting terrorist groups. Senior officials from Russia, Iran and Turkey met with United Nations Syria envoy Staffan de Mistura in Geneva. The presidents of Turkey, Iran and Russia met in Tehran on September 7th, but failed to agree on a ceasefire in Idlib. Russia briefed the 15-member United Nations Security Council on the Tehran meeting, which was held as part of the Astana process.
A third UEFA club competition is set to be introduced from the 2021-22 season, with 32 teams in the group stage.
European Club Association ECA chairman Andrea Agnelli told his members at a meeting in Split, Croatia, that it would be a third-tier competition to run alongside the existing Champions League and the second-string Europa League. The ECA later said in a statement that the proposal was to reduce the number of teams in the Europa League group stage from 48 to 32. The Champions League would continue unaltered with 32 teams. Agnelli was also asked to comment on the introduction of video-assisted referee, the so-called VAR, to European leagues, and said the ECA fully supported the technology. He also repeated his call from last year for a drastic overhaul of the international match calendar, which is drawn up by global football body FIFA and allocates dates for national team games.
The Northern Lights were seen dancing in the sky over the Arctic Circle for several hours in Finland.
The auroras could be seen lighting up the skies above the northern Finnish city of Rovaniemi just before midnight, and according to local Northern Lights photographer, this was the best display of auroras borealis at the start of what will be seen as a good season for aurora watching. The Northern Lights, also known as aurora borealis, are a result of electrically charged particles from the sun entering the Earth's atmosphere. The phenomenon is known as aurora borealis or the Northern Lights, and as aurora australis or the Southern Lights in the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more updates of recent current affairs stories here on PSM News. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.